Today on Crafty Brewers.
Which made you the youngest head brewer in the country, correct?
I think so. And I decided to make what I like, not what people like. So
he got hops thinking it was a certain strand, and they changed the name. So it changed our beer. So we made a completely different beer.
When are we going to talk about the pretzel?
We're going to talk about the pretzel later.
That pretzel is making me thirsty, Brian.
I know. Here's the deal.
Beer.
I haven't talked about the pretzel yet.
And if I sample it,
if I don't talk about the pretzel, you'll yell at me later. So
why is it not in my mouth yet?
Amanda. Welcome to the award-winning Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer, the podcast that will increase your enjoyment of craft beer and your appreciation for the people who brew it. On this episode, we have traveled to Itascafest, Illinois to go from grain to glass with Sean Gregor. He's the head brewer at Church Street Brewing Company, and Amanda Steinbraker. She's Church Street's director of Pints and Publicity, and she did a good job because there's some pints, and we're going to give you some publicity probably. So congratulations. Welcome, you guys. I'm beer drinker and Hellraiser Brian Noonan. All my opinions are strictly my own for reasons that will become clear as the episode goes on. Behind the camera, of course, is our executive producer, the award-winning podcast maven, Cody Goff. Cody, what has you excited about this episode?
I'm excited because we're talking to a brewery that is cutting back on wasted water, wasted spent grains. They're super sustainable, and that's exciting. We're also going to learn what is a Zoigl. Spoiler alert, it is not a Star Trek reference for once in my life. And we are going to learn the smartest way to consume THC that I have ever heard from anyone ever. I know this is a beer podcast, but you know what? We're all drinking all kinds of stuff, so who cares?
All right, good. Well, that's good. Way to narrow it down. Way to be specific.
That's
we enjoy that
expertise.
All right. Well, we are at Church Street Brewing Company. It's at 1480 Industrial Drive in Itascafest, Illinois. ChurchStreetBrew.com is their website. Church Street opened in 2012, and as I mentioned, Sean is the head brewer. Amanda is in charge of letting you know all about Church Street and making sure the beers get poured. So that's good. Now, welcome, you guys. We're glad you're here. Thank you. This is very exciting. I can't wait to delve into the story because the story of Church Street is really cool. It didn't start here, right? We'll start with you, Sean, because this story of Church Street started in your house, correct?
Yep.
How did that happen?
Well, my older brother, who works with us as well, was at West Point, and I guess decided to take up homebrewing in his time there. And I'm not going to get into any more details other than that.
At West Point?
At West Point.
Was that frowned upon, or, well, you don't want to get into details?
I don't know if he can get in trouble, but...
is there a statute of limitations?
No, it wasn't allowed, but
okay.
He decided he really liked it, and then my dad was a chemical engineer, so he figured that my dad would like it as well. So they got him a homebrewing kit for Christmas, and it escalated from there.
Now, your dad, if I have my facts straight, and I probably don't, so feel free, both of you, to correct me at any point. But your dad had traveled all over the world, and he had a fondness for the beers that were brewed in Germany. What was it about, as you're growing up and you're watching your dad start this brewing at home, what was his fascination and attraction to that specific region and those styles of beer?
Well, yeah, he traveled all over. I was really young at this point, so I do remember the first few brews were kind of simpler beers, ambers, IPAs, stuff like that. But they had an office in southern Germany, and he spent a lot of time there, and he was always trying to replicate Munich Helles, and the commercial examples you could find over here tended to be stale and not taste that great by the time they were, on a shelf at a liquor store around here. So he really wanted to be able to make his own Helles, so he started buying German malts, and within a few months he already had a refrigerator out in the garage dedicated to lagering, and just like that.
That's how it started.
Started brewing Helles at home.
Wow. Now, you said you were very young. So as you're very young and you're seeing this, again, just like with your brother, we don't want to delve too deep into things that may or may not, bear some legality. When did you realize that your dad was making beer, and how did you then, other than just being a guy who goes away to college, how did you get attracted to not only beer, but the beer that your dad was brewing?
I knew he was brewing beer. They let me try some beer.
How much did you sneak out in high school?
Of the homebrew, there was nothing to really sneak out.
Okay.
So couldn't do any of that, but they'd let me try some. And when he would come back from business trips, he would bring all sorts of Belgian and German beers home, fresh from the country of origin. So, I got to try them all early on and had some ones I liked and had some ones I didn't. But yeah, he would I remember I was swimming my entire childhood and we'd bring beer in bottles to other parents on the swim team and hand them out and stuff like that.
Give it to the coach. Get you a couple more events.
Coach had a few.
Sure, you got it like that.
Yeah.
All right, Amanda, I have a question and maybe a bone to pick, some confusion that may or may not happen to your patrons before they arrive here. Church Street is the name of the brewery.
Yes.
There is not a Church Street anywhere in Itasca.
No, there's not.
There is not. What's the deal? What's the deal with the name?
Well, so originally we were supposed to be on Church Street, and it just didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be. But
That was in another town, correct?
it was in Addison.
Who needs them?
Well, it worked out to our advantage because creating our own street, when you come through and you just follow right to the brewery, that's Church Street.
I did see the sign out there, and I was like, well, I guess, if this village doesn't mind, name whatever you want.
Yeah.
We are Church Street.
You are Church Street on Church Street, even though if people look up a map of Itasca.
I mean, Industrial Drive doesn't really sound that great, but
No. But no, it's...
you got to get on Industrial Drive to get to Church Street.
There you go, and you can see it's beautiful. Let me ask this, too, and Amanda, maybe you want to answer this, or Sean, you can answer this, too. The imagery, as we see on the cans, and the name, did that come... What came first? And what's the connection of the, church to the I guess, stained glass church? I don't know if religious is the right term, but it kind of gives off that religious church
Traditional.
vibe. Yeah, traditional.
Yeah.
So what's the evolution of that as far as which came first and where the name?
Beginning, and I know now. So.
Okay.
Yeah, early on, Church Street came first, just named after the street, not necessarily trying to be religious. The names were always kind of religious themed. I mean, Heavenly Hellas was the first beer, and there was a lot of kind of religious themes to the names, but the labels were pretty basic early on, just, our circular logo and different colors for each label. And, we got some pressure from distributors and customers to kind of differentiate them
Jazz it up
more.
a little bit.
So, yeah, we moved into the stained glass labels, and, now they look a lot more different. And each have their own design.
We rebranded into this about a year ago.
Okay.
And it's, what you're getting.
Yes.
It was a collaborative between marketing, the brewers, the owners, and our staff that we make it so you know exactly what you're drinking. Yeah. The stained glass is still remaining, and it has the traditional glass that it should be poured in.
Right.
It's not always going to happen that way, but that's when you look at it, this is a Helles, this is an IPA, this is a red.
I do love the fact that, and I keep pointing back, if you don't see the beautiful display, Amanda put this whole shot together. We'll give her a shout out. Even though you're here, we still give you a shout out. I do like that the beers are in the correct glasses.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's very nice. And it's, how important is that? You said to differentiate, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, but when people go into a place like Binny's that carries so many beers, you want with any product, you want your label to pop. And you're right. If I see stained glass, I know it's Church Street.
Right.
Without, I don't have to know what that exact beer is in that can yet, but I know if I'm looking for Church Street, I see stained glass, that's where I'm going.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we worked really hard on that. So
And the other thing is, it's got to be a competition between breweries because the labels are getting more and more ornate and more colorful, and they're fun. They're fun to look at.
Yeah.
Is that, obviously it's a marketing thing, it's a sales thing, but does it have anything to do with a lot of people are drinking their beer out of cans now too? And if you're going to be sitting there drinking it, you're like, oh, this is really cool. And you could keep spinning it and see what's on there. You go, oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you drink with your eyes. If it looks good, it's going to taste good. So we did have a label that gorgeous, but you didn't know what beer it was until you actually read it.
Okay.
And so we still wanted the label to have that, but emphasize on the fact it's about the beer,
It is
not
about
about
the
the
beer.
label.
Speaking of beer, let's get to you, Sean, because a lot of people would think, well, your dad opened a brewery. You're now a head brewer. You must have started here at Church Street, and yet you did not start at Church Street. You mentioned you were a swimmer. You were a swimmer at college in Cincinnati,
Yep.
and that's kind of where you got your start, right?
That's where I got my brewing start. I did work here. I did some lifeguarding. Every swimmer lifeguards.
Yeah, sure.
That's what you do. And I hated it. I don't like I was at a single guard pool where you sit in a chair all day by yourself and not
Got
for
that
me.
pasty stuff on your nose?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Not for me. So last few years of high school, I started working at the brewery, but more
Okay.
just odds and ends, cleaning tanks, cleaning kegs,
The
whatever.
fun
Basically just cleaning.
The important.
Yeah.
Obviously not brewing at that point, but yeah, then I went off to Cincinnati and I was swimming at Cincinnati and not a very good college swimmer. So stopped swimming after a couple of years and wanted to go back into working at breweries and ended up running a brewery and dropping out of college.
Yeah, let's not gloss over that because you give us the name of the brewery.
It's called Bircus.
Bircus.
It's a circus with a B.
And your ascent to head brewer was almost immediate, if not immediate, correct?
Yep.
So how did that happen?
I had applied for a few jobs around, different breweries around Cincinnati, some packaging jobs, some cellaring jobs, and then there was a head brewer position open. So I figured you might as well throw your name in, and interviews went well, I guess. So I ended up, being their head brewer a couple months after I turned 21.
That's amazing, which made you, at that point, the youngest head brewer in the country, correct?
I think so.
Had you brewed before other than like homebrew and stuff? I know you had worked here doing the cleaning stuff, so you had brewed some stuff.
Yeah.
How does that happen? What do you present to them in your interview that goes, yeah, I'm 21, I just got out of the pool, but this is why I should be your head brewer.
Me and the roommates in college were brewing some beer in buckets.
Okay. Do you remember the recipe you turned in like with your application?
Yeah, it was a Belgian blonde because I didn't have much temperature control, so I needed something I could kind of let get warm in the basement in Cincinnati, and that was about it. Bircus started off as a very Belgian themed brewery.
Okay.
So that made sense, and I had some Belgian beers to give them. So it was just kind of a spiced blonde ale, basically was the first one, and I guess it went over well.
What's that like for somebody as young as you were to now have the responsibility of this whole brewery on your shoulders? Or did you think of it that way at that point?
I don't think I thought of it that way. Looking back, I wish I would have done a few things differently, but, 21, first try at it. Obviously had a lot of help back here and a lot of support back here. So bouncing things off, TJ, our first brewer, and Chuck, who still works here. Chuck's who I took over for. He just wanted to go part-time, but he still works with us part-time. So bouncing things off those two, and then obviously my parents. So it was, had some support, but made some mistakes because I was young. What can you
Everybody
do?
does, right?
Yep.
When you take a job like that and you said they're known for their Belgians and stuff, how much latitude then do you have to say, all right, I'm going to do a triple, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, but then I have this idea that we've been cooking up with the roommates.
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of latitude, even as the head brewer?
Oh, yeah. They were pretty lax and let me kind of make what I wanted to make. And I decided to make what I like, not what people like. So that was just a big mistake. And I probably should have done the lineup a little bit differently and brewed some beers that were, more.
Was there one beer that you thought, listen, I love this beer. The people just haven't had it yet.
Yeah.
But once they taste it, man, forget it. I'm taking over the Covington, Cincinnati area by storm.
Yeah, it was actually kind of loosely based off one of Chuck's recipes. He had this kind of heavy Scottish ale that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
And that is just not really a hot mover anywhere in the country, I don't think. But I was dead set on making this Scotty, and I mean, it was still around when I left. years later.
Okay.
Maybe not the most popular beer in the world, but
people still...
it was one I liked.
People
Yeah.
drank it.
Yep.
There you go. So what brought you then from Bircus back to Church Street?
Kind of figured I'd always end up here eventually. It happened quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
Just kind of the physical labor. We had a very manual. It's a big system. It's 30 barrels, so you're brewing almost 1,000 gallons at a time. But it's still very manual. So when you're talking, we do a lot of contract brewing too. But a lot of these contract beers are adjunct heavy. So when you're adjuncting thousands of gallons of beer, it's pretty labor intensive, and it was just beating Chuck up. So Chuck kind of asked when I was coming back, and it was a little earlier than I thought it would be, but
Okay.
I was ready to come back.
But at that point, you have more experience than you had just as a high school kid who was cleaning the tanks and stuff. Now you've proven yourself in the world. You can come back. One of the things I read that I found interesting was your dad kind of custom made the brew house.
Yep.
Which is great until you're the brewer, and all of a sudden it's like, things are a little bit different than they would be by textbook. What's the biggest challenge of taking the ideas that your dad had when he built the brew house and making sure that you guys have that same mindset?
I mean, I guess it's just kind of repurposing things that didn't turn out exactly how they should. We just had kind of some miscommunications, I guess, with the guys that made the equipment. So some of the stuff that was meant to be a feature, and they were trials at this feature, didn't work out how they were supposed to be. And, they could kind of ignore specifics about his drawings and ship them to us. And what are you going to do? Return it to China? I mean, it's not an option. So
no,
we've had to kind of make things work and do some workarounds to, get liquid to move where we want it to, the way we want it to. And then he's big into conservation. So there's a lot of elements of the brewery that are just trying to reclaim heat. We've got a coil going out our basically our steam pipe going up to the ceiling. We've got a coil there that we can run loop hot water through during the boil to basically kind of recapture some of that heat off the steam and heat our hot liquor tank with that rather than using our boiler. And I don't know, just other features like that, trying to save some energy.
I wanted to get into some of the conservation stuff you did because I come in the parking lot, and again, it's on Church Street. We'll talk about the Steeple, which is up front. Well, we're coming to that, and I see this, trailer just sitting out there, and I'm like, what are they storing trucks now too? They're making beer, they're storing trucks? No, there's a specific reason that there is a trailer sitting outside the brewery. What is that specific reason?
It's where we keep our spent grain.
What are you doing with the spent grain?
We collect it all until it smells too bad, and then we ship it out to some farms west of us, and it turns into cattle feed.
Very nice. You are very considerate of your neighbors, because Amanda pointed out you have a nice sign as you come into the brewery about the smell. Everybody who watches the show knows I don't have a sense of smell, which is why I could never be a brewer.
Lovely.
I know. I have to go with just taste and the look, which is fine with me. I've been drinking for a long time and it works. But I don't smell the smell. But I guess because you had to warn the neighbors, it must stink pretty bad?
Yeah.
It's a hot summer.
Yeah, it is a hot summer.
It's a hot summer.
You're right.
It doesn't always smell bad. But what I like to say is if it smells bad, that means we're making beer and we're making a lot of beer.
Yeah.
And it's just cooking in the sun a little bit. But it's going to be fantastic for this cattle and for the pigs that are going to eat it. They're going to feel real good too. So I don't know. I think it's like a nice little handshake to
It's great.
farmers and
Because what else could you do with the spent grain?
throw it away.
Throw it away.
Throw it away. That's no good.
Yeah.
So you do the spent grain, which is excellent. Then you recycle some water, and there's a big silo out back too. What are the other things that Church Street does as far as that recycling? You talked about the heat, which makes a lot of sense from the steam. What's the water in the silo for?
Oh, it's not water.
That's our bulk barley.
That's the bar.
Yep. That's where we get our base malt.
Okay.
So we get it by the truckload, and the silo out back.
Oh, the silo is to keep the barley.
Yeah.
So what is the recycling the water? What?
That's in the brewery.
It's in the brewery, but what's that for, I guess? What's the purpose of
Well, what I was talking about was that the steam pipes, you're boiling beer and you've got a flue pipe that goes up to the ceiling with an exhaust fan drawing that steam out. So you try not to steam out your own building.
Okay.
But obviously there's heat there that you're just kind of fanning out into the atmosphere. So we try to loop some water through that pipe in a coil and pick up some free heat to our hot liquor tank.
Okay.
Just kind of recapture some of that. And then there's some condensate pipes in that line too, so that obviously you cool off steam, it's going to turn back to water, and we don't want it dripping back into the kettle. So we got a trap to catch it too. And then every brewery, I think, does this, but obviously on the cold side of our heat exchanger, that gets recycled into the hot liquor tank.
Okay.
So, you're after the boil, the beer's coming out hot, running against cold water turns into hot water, hot beer hot wort turns into cold wort. And obviously you got to recycle that hot water. You don't want to dump that on the floor. So that hot water gets recycled into our hot liquor tank just to try to, cut back on wasting water, cut back on wasting heat, and, not draw on the boiler as much as we need to.
Okay. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, there's a lot of things I want to talk about regarding the beer, because there's something unique about the brew house,
Yep.
which we'll get into a little science, Cody. We got to get into some science, because as I'm looking at Church Street's beer selections, first of all, we're going to talk about the series. There's many different series of the beer, but I have a mash question. I don't know if I've asked a mash question before, but I might.
I don't know if you've asked a MASH question before.
It has nothing to do with Alan Alda. I'll give you a hint. Spoiler, nothing.
It's too bad. I've
It's
met
a
him.
Vic McLean Stevenson question.
I've met him. Weird flex, but okay. When are we going to talk about the pretzel?
We're going to talk about the pretzel later.
That pretzel is making me thirsty, Brian.
I know. Here's the deal.
beer.
I haven't talked about the pretzel yet, because once I talk about it, I'm going to need to sample it.
I
and
need
if I
to
sample
sample
it,
it.
I'm housing that entire pretzel. Because not only does Church Street make award-winning beer, they have a kitchen. And because maybe you sense the tie-in, the German beers, a Bavarian pretzel, stop it. So there's a lot to get to. We're going to do that after this. It's Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft
I can't
Beer.
wait.
You'll have to wait.
I can't wait.
You sound like your children. You sound like your son.
I do.
Be patient. Don't make me go all dad on you. I'm drinking a Maibach. I should be eating that pretzel nonstop. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. Today we are in Itasca at Church Street Brewing, and my guests are Sean Gregor. He is the head brewer here at Church Street Brewing, and Amanda Steinbraker. She is the director of Pints and Publicity. Pints and Publicity. I know the Publicity. What does the director of Pints do?
Well, I mean, just saying that I do social media and helping in any way I can, whether it's packaging with Sean, if it's a crazy day, doing fests,
Nice.
just advocating and showcasing what we do best.
Well, and you are responsible for the beautiful shot that folks are seeing on this
Thank you.
episode.
Thank you.
Even normally, when we come back from the Brewer's Choice and we're going to showcase a beer, and it's always been great, we have a little beer in front of us, and that's great. But somehow I knew, Amanda, that when we said we're going to take a break, you would make a beautiful, elaborate show. So we have many beers that we're going to taste and showcase. Before we get to that, real quick, Sean, I wanted to ask you this because I mentioned it before we took the break. Part of the lagers and the style beer you do, what Church Street is known for is your Decoction brew house. Now, we talked about Decoction a long time ago. I can't remember anything except that we made a lot of jokes about it.
Yeah.
Can you, as a professional brewer, tell everybody what Decoction is?
Yeah, it's just kind of a, specifically about our brew house.
Yes.
Most people, especially at the time where we were starting off, you would buy just an insulated tank and you would mix hot water and grain at one temperature and kind of pick your enzyme that you want to be active. And it's called a single infusion mash. And that's perfectly good for the vast majority of beers. And you can pull off a lot of lagers with a single infusion mash. But if you want to kind of get a little bit more character and a little bit more depth without having to buy specialty malts and just do it with Pilsner malt. That's what we do. So all of our tanks are steam jacketed, meaning exactly what it sounds like. There's steam running in a coil around the tank.
Around the entire tank.
Rather than a lot of people have like a direct fire burner where there's actual fire. And you couldn't pull this off without scorching your mash. So with the intention of, when we first opened, we were only going to brew Helles. So with that intention, we actually mash into our boil kettle because we have a 2-vessel system that we have to pull off decoction on because of space constraints. So we mash into the boil kettle. You go in at, say, your protein rest. That's maybe, 125, 130 degrees, short protein rest, and you go into your beta step, which is like your main enzyme step. All we're describing here is you have different enzymes that can break complicated starch chains into simpler and simpler sugars, because at the end of the day, the simpler the sugar, the easier yeast can eat it. And when yeast eats sugar, that's where you get your alcohol, CO2, and all the flavor that you get in beer. So really cooking the grain down is just it's a means to an end of, getting this, what starts off as starchy water into, however much simple sugar you want dissolved in the water. So if you want a beer to finish sweet, you'd cook it differently than if you want a beer to finish really dry. And then decoction's a really old German method of kind of working through different enzyme steps, because there's multiple different enzymes you can use that are more or less active at different temperatures. So decoction is really just taking a portion of your mash and boiling it really hard. So it's kind of twofold. Obviously, when you add boiling mash back to your original container, it's going to heat up the mash and walk you up to a different enzyme rest. And then it physically breaks up starch molecules, and then you kind of get like a Maillard reaction, like if you're cooking steak and you brown the outside of steak or you caramelize onions or something, that's a Maillard reaction. You are just kind of caramelizing sugars that you've pulled out of that grain. And so you can pull out a little bit of extra depth that otherwise you couldn't. So we'll do single decoctions. We actually have a Bach in a tank right now that we did a double decoction on. But yeah, you're just kind of walking it through different steps and then pulling more character out of the grain than you otherwise would have.
So you kind of answered another question I had as I was listening to you. Lagers aren't the only beers that go through decoction. So you said you have a Bach in there now.
That's a lager.
It is a lager?
Yep.
Okay. So do other styles then use decoction, or is it just the lagers? And on the back of that, you've been talking about mash. And I mentioned as I was reading, if people go to churchstreetbrew.com, they can read the descriptions of all your beers, which is, I think, great. There was step mashing. Yeah. There was single decoction. You mentioned the Bach has double decoction. We do like to talk about science. So what is the difference between those three things? And then we'll start drinking and Cody can have some pretzel.
Yeah, to me, I mean, like, just to put it in simpler terms, decoction would kind of equate to malt character.
Okay.
So maybe if you're talking the difference between a German Pilsner and a Czech Pilsner, you're more likely to do decoctions in a Czech Pilsner where you want maybe it to look a little bit more golden, maybe a little bit more malt character, versus a German Pilsner that's going to be paler, crisper, brighter, and you really want the hops to kind of take over and shine. That's where you're going to do your step mash. So the step mash is just a way of drying it out as much as possible without cooking down that grain and getting a lot of Maillard products. Just keeping it nice, pale, dry, crisp. And, if you're going to do decoctions, you're going to taste that grain a lot more. So something that you want balance in.
A double decoction then would give it a more malty flavor?
Is that the Bach malt's the driver in a Bach. So a Dunkel would be another classic type of beer to do a double on. Doppelbock.
All those styles.
So that's just, if you're really trying to intensify malt character, you're going to single, double. People do triples. We don't do them very often anymore, but it was good. It was good to bring back a double
commitment. If you go from a single decoction to a double decoction, how much longer a process is it to brew?
In the grand scheme of making beer, it's really not that much more time. I mean, you're talking, some lager that's going to be in a tank for 8 weeks. You're adding 15 minutes to the brew day, it's not the end of the world. But
It's a bathroom break.
Yeah. And you're breaking the grain down. You might have a little bit more runoff issues, stuff passing through your screen and your mash tun, but it's not a huge time commitment day of.
Yeah. We're going to get into these beautiful beers. I have to circle back though, as I see this. That's that's definitely something that's not a German style Pilsner. So I have to ask, going back to what you said before, are you brewing things still that you like now, not going back to your Bircus days to go, I'm brewing this because, damn it, people are going to like it. Yeah. They don't know it yet, but they're going to like it.
Yeah. We do kind of a little column A, little column B. So when we opened up, we wanted to brew Helles. And in 2012, I don't think anybody really cared about Helles. You'd go to another brewery and it would be vast majority of their taps were IPAs. And we had a Helles and a Pilsner and maybe a red ale at times. And those traditional styles weren't necessarily the most exciting thing in the world. So for a couple of years, Helles was the only lager we had for a couple of years. Our Pilsner went away, and we started to make a lot more, I guess, trendy is what you could call them, styles, hazy IPAs, fruited sours, which we have one of them out today.
This is the Helles, correct?
That's the Helles.
So you started with this. This is one of the originals, right? This is
the original.
The original beer that the Church Street.
It's our
flagship beer.
Prost.
So single decoction.
Single decoction. Tell us about the Helles.
So it's single decoction, German barley, German yeast, German hops. Basically everything is sourced from Germany to keep it as close as possible. Try to match a Munich water table as close as we can.
Okay. What's the difference in the Munich water table than Itasca's water table?
Actually, we get Chicago City water, which is nice and soft, and then
and that's good water.
It's really good water.
Who says Chicago water is
that was
brewing.
One of the best parts about coming back from Kentucky to here is the same hard water that made bourbon famous is not great for making beer like that. And
there you go.
Coming back to Chicago water was really nice. So we have a carbon filter and a softener here that bring it in a little even softer than Chicago water comes in, which is nice for Munich table because that's what you want. You want nice to start with soft water for lagers.
So at the point you were mentioning traditional beers kind of going away as far as the trendiness, but they're making a comeback.
Yep.
And the Helles, you said, is the beer you guys make the most of. It's your flagship. It's a bestseller. Before we get to the next one, which is where I live, what do you think has brought people back to these traditional styles of lagers and pilsners and stuff that you guys had in your wheelhouse since you started?
It's consistent. It tastes exactly what you want it to. It's a beer that tastes like beer.
Yes.
It's something that if we bring it to a fest, we're probably going to be drinking our own beer, and it's going to be Helles.
It's one of those that you like. I taste it, I go, this is a beer I could sit on all day.
Yeah.
I can have a few. It's going to be great.
Lawnmower, beer,
and it
like
goes with
sitting
everything.
on the patio.
What am I having? A cheeseburger and pizza?
Yep.
I'm going to have a Helles. All right. Now we move to a little copper-colored angel. What do we have here, Sean?
This is our Oktoberfest. So we call it Itascafest. It's on the dark side. It's Märzen. We don't do a Festbier. We do a Märzen. I know.
What's the difference? Now, I know color-wise we know Märzen is this beautiful copper color.
Yeah.
And a Festbier, it kind of almost looks the color of the Helles.
Yeah, somewhere in between them.
But this is how it started until people got afraid of beers that had some color in them and decided to make a Festbier, which was later, right? Or am I way off?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. Festbier is now a fairly pale beer, probably a little bit more golden. But yeah, still kind of toasty. People like their paler beers now, but we still like to make kind of a nice amber Märzen.
That's what I was drinking at the beginning of the show. Yeah. I've told you guys, and people know, this is my favorite time of year. When the Märzens come out and the fest beers and all the malt forward stuff. Yep. How much malt goes into this Itascafest?
Quite a few different individual varieties. We got some Pilsner, some Munich, some dark Munich, and then 2 different Cara Munichs. So basically, you're talking base malt into slightly darker base malts into, kind of medium color caramels.
Okay.
But once again, that decoction and step mashing is coming into play there. So that
Is that a single or a double?
This one's a single.
Okay.
So that you can get plenty of malt character, kind of dial back on the caramel malts. We don't have to use as much as we otherwise would to get that color out of it. And then it helps it just kind of dry out, so you don't have like a big, sweet, heavy beer. It's still nice and dry and toasty. And it's another one you can, even on a hot day, you could have a couple of.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I drink Märzen all
I can
all
drink
year.
them all year.
Yeah.
There's, which brings me to an amateurish question. But one of my, these were traditionally brewed for Oktoberfest, which is October. We're recording this prior to October.
Yeah.
Based on our sweat. So part of it, people complain that it's like, oh, the Oktoberfests come out, and I'm one of them. And then by the time October hits, everybody's done with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that because obviously the brewing calendar changes and you have things that you want to bring out for the colder months and your barrel aged stuff and all that. But what drove the calendar to move the Märzens and the Festbiers earlier than, is it just demand?
Well, Oktoberfest in Germany is in September. It's over by the end of September.
Oh, that's true.
So you kind of have...
So I can't wear my lederhosen after September.
I went into Walgreens the first week in August, and they had Halloween decorations up.
Yeah, I saw that. It's insane.
It's a little...
Yeah, everything gets closer and closer.
I think there's just more competition, and everybody's just trying to sell in earlier and earlier. Basically...
You don't want to do like the same...
extended.
Yeah.
I don't mind it start early.
I would say too.
Starts early.
But liquor stores and bars will not buy Oktoberfest really in September.
I know.
You have to have it in August, or you're really not going to move much more.
Going into some major retailers, I won't name them, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
Mid-September, and I'm like, hey, do you have this Oktoberfest or this one or this one?
Yeah.
No, those are gone. I'm like,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just kind of pushes everybody to race to earlier and earlier to be the ones in there. Yeah.
They should outlast the pumpkin spice latte, right?
I wish.
I think everything.
There's no pumpkin in it. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, you mean the latte itself? It's not even remotely resembling pumpkin. No.
Well, listen, that was my personal gripe. I had to, put it out there because, as I said, I love this kind of beer, and your Märzen is really good.
Thank you.
I had one earlier.
Can we describe the notes for the listener / viewer?
Well, why don't you describe the notes?
Because I'm bad at it. All I know is I want to drink the whole thing.
We'll let Sean describe the notes for people who, because as hard as it is to believe, there are people who get a little hinky around the beers that don't look like this. Because that's, we all started drinking beer that looked like this.
Yep.
And even IPAs, some of them, unless they're hazy, the beers look like. But then my wife is one of them, and I stay married to her. I don't know why. I must owe her money. But a beer this beautiful color, it's like, oh, it's too dark.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a nice toasty amber lager. It's more toasty than sweet. We try to keep the sweeter, heavier, cloying caramel flavors out of it, and really cook it down, really let it dry out so that you get some malt intensity and some depth. But really, it's just a nice dry lager.
And how long will you guys have it on tap here at the brewery?
Till they drink it all.
Yeah, till they drink it all.
Going?
We made 60 barrels of it this year, and I'd expect it to be. It'll be around through October, I bet.
Okay. Unless Cody and I come back.
I will drink one barrel of this. Maybe in one sitting. Like, this goes down.
Yeah.
It is staff's
It needs
favorite.
to cool off a little bit.
The staff honestly just love it.
Let's go to this, I got reddish, pinkish, blueberry, juice-ish looking. What do we have here?
So here we have the other side that I was talking about. We started making a lot of other types of beer, more things that people wanted at the time, and this is one of the lines that did the best. So we kind of have like a base sour beer, and then blueberry, which we have right now, is our year-round sour. So We have a blueberry vanilla sour here. It's all real fruit, all real vanilla. We don't use any flavors, any colors,
And no
anything
lactose.
like that. No lactose.
And I appreciate that
Yes.
because I mean, I want to drink more.
So
And
this is just, it has 1 pound of blueberry puree per gallon of beer, and then it's got vanilla extract in it, real vanilla extract. And I mean, that's about what it is. It's just it's a fruited sour. We come out with a quarterly seasonal throughout the year. First quarter tends to be strawberry rhubarb.
yep.
Second quarter this year was a blackberry lemon.
Okay.
Third quarter's cherry lime, and then fourth quarter's raspberry.
Oh, wow.
But we kind of mix up the quarterly flavors, and blueberry's always around. And
Blueberry's always
just-
here.
He did prickly pear this year,
Oh, wow.
which was absolutely phenomenal. Florida, bought us out at one point where he had to brew it again, and I appreciated it because I absolutely love it.
And it's no say I'm not a big sour guy. There's no secret to that. Everybody who's watched the show knows. I do like the blueberry flavor, and I love a nice little hint of vanilla in something.
Yep.
So
It's like an
good.
introduction to sour. It's
Yeah.
more tart and it's fruit forward.
That's the key. That for me, and I know my aforementioned wife who eschews the Märzen. Oh, she loves the sours. I like them when they're more tart than
Yeah.
sour because I don't even like sour candies. But this I love blueberries though.
Yeah.
And so this is
Before
Here we are.
Sean started brewing here full time, I actually went and saw him in Ludlow, and he did a kettle sour that is unbelievable. It was called Panda. What was it?
Sipping Panda.
Oh, it was so good. And I feel like he's learned from his kettle sours over in Ludlow, and he brought that to here and perfected it.
it's very the sours to me when they came out I was like, oh, this is just gonna be a craze. But sours seem to be here to stay. Sours
Yeah. Oh,
aren't
yeah.
going anywhere.
Oh,
yeah.
It's one of our most steady movers. Besides, we make a hazy IPA and then obviously Hellas. Those are
Yeah.
1 and 2, but the sour's right there behind them.
Very nice.
It's the color and it's the fruit forward that just really sets us apart.
Yeah, the fruit forward is definitely
Yeah.
the key for somebody like me who's like, I'll try all the sours, but it may not be my thing.
But at least
when
you
the
try
fruit,
it.
When the fruit comes through, it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get this one because I can taste. Sometimes they go, oh, we've got mango and whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I love mangoes. No mango in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean spends a lot of time on making sure that it's the right puree, it's the right fruit profile to it.
It tastes good.
Yeah.
It tastes good. And what is our final beer down at the
Final
end?
beer. I'll hand it over.
Thank you. What is this?
That's the righteous red.
This one is kind of another beer that we like, beer that employees like.
Yeah.
It is a kind of employee favorite, and it's actually picking up steam as the traditional beers come back into style. But this is our red ale, kind of.
Oh,
It's kind of a hybrid, somewhere between an American red ale and an Irish red ale. So we import a lot of ingredients. Most of the grain is from the UK. We do use American yeast, and then a blend of UK and American hops.
what's the difference? Because, I mean, I remember being a big Killian's drinker
Oh, yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an Irish red. And you said now there's an American red. So what differentiates the two?
I would
Is it just
say
where the grain-
in an American red, the hops could be the driver a little bit more. Not necessarily complete. Obviously, there's some malt character to a red ale, but Irish reds to me are malt's really the driver, whereas American reds, it's a lot more kind of give and take between hops and malt. So this is a little bit hoppier than an Irish red, but definitely leaning in that direction.
I was going to say, you describe it as hoppier, but as it doesn't come at, the hops don't come at you. The
No.
hops are there, but you get the malt
Yeah.
too. It's a really nice balance and a beautiful color.
Yeah, the hops are more of a
The question is the resident smeller on this
Yes, Cody
podcast.
does the smelling.
Okay.
I detect some kind of like strong, like a spice note. What is that? There's something I don't know how to
roast,
describe it.
maybe.
And I just said,
Roast?
Yeah.
here.
The roast part.
There's a roast, and then one of the main flavoring hops. So, like when I'm talking about hops and malt being the driver, malt's definitely the driver here. The IBUs are a little bit higher, which is your kind of early edition hops that just add bitterness to balance. That that kind of hop element that you might be smelling is English EKG, and it's a little bit herbal. It's almost like black tea.
Yeah.
It's just got like a really pleasant herbal note to it.
Yeah.
And it's just a really pleasant hop. It's kind of hard to find right now because the English harvest haven't been very good the last few years, but we're still sourcing it, still paying a premium for English hops to make this red ale.
So like you're importing them from England to do it. I don't know that we've talked to that many brewers that are doing that. Is that becoming
we
more?
go local and we go far, so it really depends on his recipe and what quality he wants and how it breaks down. The decoction really helps that we can break down modified grain and make it as pure as possible. But what he wants, we get.
Yeah.
And without getting political, is it harder to get hops and grains from overseas now than it was say,
More
a year ago?
expensive.
It's more expensive. And I would just say continental Europe's really having some issues with water shortages.
Okay. So there's a shortage of
harvests have not been good, and they're gonna you got to look out for number one first. So kind of domestic producers are getting the good stuff, and you kind of get the runoff to a little bit. And to what you said, you can go through an importer, and you can work directly with farms overseas. And then there's also U.S. based distributors that work with a ton of farms all over. So you kind of check the spot market. It's called, Michigan Hop Alliance is one of them. You got Yakima out west, and you got Hop Guild in New York, and then you can reach out to farms directly. Like a lot of big New Zealand farms have gone direct. There's so many different suppliers. You just reach out and see what you can find from who.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about New Zealand, like that's very far away, and you can't you can go anywhere in the world, right? Well, anywhere in the world that is good for growing hops, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is there like a master list somewhere that you go to and kind of look at it, or is it like a newsletter where you're just every week you're like, oh, here's a new one? How do you?
It's continuously changing.
Yeah.
I mean, your big brewing supply, it's not where we tend to buy hops from, but obviously they're working with a ton of suppliers too. So you get Country Malt and BSG where most brewers are buying all their grain and other brewing supplies from. I mean, they work with a ton of people, and it's just very fluid. Some weeks we're getting hops here, some weeks there.
I remember one time he got hops thinking it was a certain strand, and they changed the name. And so it changed our beer. So we made a completely different beer. And it was kind of a happy mistake for some. It was very frustrating for him. But it turned out delicious. But sometimes you have those little happy mistakes like, Bob Ross, and just make it what it is.
Happy little accident.
Yeah. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You also do a lot of collabs with other breweries. One of them is the Book of Mark, which I had earlier. It's really good, but it is a Zoigl beer, which, quite frankly, I'm not embarrassed to say it, I had never heard of a Zoigl beer. Much like Cody, remember, a few months ago, we didn't know what a Grodzitsky was.
Sure.
We never heard of it. Now we're going to, what is a Zoigl beer?
So
I know it was delicious, but that can't be the only description.
Wait, Zoidberg from Futurama?
No, that's a very good guess, though.
Okay.
Zoigl.
Okay.
Like Gollum.
Wow.
I don't really.
My
What's a Zoigl?
Better than
Zoigl is more of a tradition than a nailed down style.
Oh, okay.
So this was our take on it. So Book of Mark, we had this guy, Mark Nasky, who's been involved at a lot of breweries and all over the place, St. Louis and Chicago.
Just a mentor to everyone, especially to Chuck.
Yeah, mentor to a lot of people, very involved in the homebrewing community, and had his hand in a lot of our kind of lagers early on. I mean, he had a lot to do with the Itascafest. He kind of helped us dial in the Helles early on and worked on some Pilsners with us back in the day. Unfortunately, he passed away, but this was a recipe that he got traveling around in Germany. He was somewhere kind of almost towards Austria.
Oh, wow.
Kind of southeastern Bavaria, going through little villages. And Zoigl is really, it's like a country beer in Germany. And it would be kind of wort was brought out to a brewer's house from a kind of central distribution point, and the brewer would ferment it and get it ready to serve. But this was just unpasteurized beer, kind of brewed out in more rural communities in Germany. So it had a very short shelf life.
Okay.
So the brewer would put, there's this kind of six-sided star. Yeah. The brewer would put that star out, kind of indicating that the beer was ready to drink. And, people would come in and drink the beer.
And each region would have like just a different flair to it, but it started all from the same.
Yeah. So the style was could be very different from brewer to brewer.
Okay.
But the tradition was the same, being that, out in the country, trying to get beer to the people that are living out there, and maybe not, being out there, not the most sanitary setup hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So
sure.
The beer was ready. It was time to drink it. Put the sign on the door, and everybody come drink. And that's what a Zoigl was. So this was specifically a recipe from a little village in, southern Germany, and super, super simple, like a lot of German beers are. It's like 3 ingredients, lager yeast, and just get it ready to serve. And
it is very light and crisp. Like I said, I enjoyed it very much. What is it? What can people expect? Because I know I give very broad description.
Well, that's probably why you like all the Oktoberfests, and that it's got that malt.
Yeah.
So it definitely has that almost bread flavor.
And you did this with Riverlands?
Yep.
What makes collabs so exciting?
It's just good to work with other brewers. I mean, everybody knows something that you don't. You can work at the biggest fancy brewery and think you know everything, but everybody's experienced something you haven't. So it's good having those guys in and, learning from them or going to their place. Typically we do basically a home and away. So we'll do one here and then do one at their place.
And I get to tag along.
That's very nice.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited about those.
It's a good gig.
Yeah. Get to see how they run their system, what they do differently than you. And some places you pick up some new things that you can bring back to your brewery, and sometimes they pick up things from you. So yeah, it's all good. Just like working with other people.
That's cool. One of the new things, that's a ham-handed segue, Cody. There's the new thing segue.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I know you don't, because only I know. And who knows if it's going to work out. Did you ever think that when you started brewing beer, that one day you would be infusing seltzer with THC?
No.
And following that trend down the road. Tell us about
Pigeon Row.
Tell us about Pigeon Row and the evolution because THC, hop waters, and seltzers are becoming another trend. I don't know if like sours, if they're going to stay around forever, but it's happening, and it's happening here at Church Street.
I think this is something that's going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everett? Yeah.
Yes, please. I partake, so I love it. 5 milligrams of the hop water. He can tell you about the process of it, but I know with this, it doesn't have any calories. It's 0 sugar. So my dad's pre-diabetic and, has the inflammation of...
I'm very diabetic, so I can relate.
So
He's professional diabetic.
So having 0 sugar, 0 calories, but still being able to partake.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because this is delicious, but carbs and sugar are kind of the same thing. So when my dad, needs to make sure that he's good, and it also helps with his inflammation. So it's a Delta 9. It's a derivative from the hemp plant. It's not synthetic, which it's actually going to be what it's going to be. We get it tested. It is perfectly dosed, so the amount that you take is the amount that you're going to give. It's not going to have that liquid on top where you need to shake it. It's completely within. So with me, if I don't finish a 16-ounce can, we're going to do 12-ounce soon. I actually make ice cubes, and I tell people to do that just if they want to do a lower dose. Mix that with your water or, your flavored waters with bubbles. Whatever you want. I mean, I took my Bassett, and I'm not supposed to mix the two. So
that is the smartest way to consume THC I have ever heard.
yeah,
That's genius.
so
Next time
I
I'm at your
do.
house, I'll ask for my water with ice.
I do. I mean, sometimes like mocktails are just great, but you want just something like that last drink.
Yes.
When I don't want another beer, I'm hot, I'm bloated, and I want it one more, and I choose hop water Pigeon Row.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's brilliant.
So, and when did you guys start with this?
About a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Going pretty well. People like it.
Yeah.
We started in the tap room, and
Okay.
so now we're starting to build it, knowing that the product is what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
PigeonRowBev.com. But he pasteurizes it, so the quality of it and the shelf life, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
Was it
And no preservatives.
no preservative? Was it a difficult adjustment? You had been brewing beer for forever.
Oh, it's a Wild West with it. Oh, yeah.
Is there a different strategy to adding?
Yeah.
Trying to figure all that out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the process is very different. The blending physically is easy. But with beer, where basically, you have a tank of beer that's X percentage of alcohol.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a 12-ounce can or a 16-ounce can.
Same
5%
thing.
5%.
Right.
But with drinks like this, where 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, or anything, whatever you're making it, obviously you have to change your dosage rate depending on the package size. And then, like she was talking about, we did build kind of a pasteurizing setup because we didn't want to just start dumping in,
Yeah.
benzoate and sorbates and every other chemical stabilizer under the sun that a lot of other people use. And if they use it to success, that's good for them. But
Not your thing.
we've brewed a lot of back sweetened beers for some contract brewers and tried every combination of preservatives. They're never 100% effective, and what we found was 100% effective for those was just pasteurizing them. So we just pasteurize them. We have a lab here. We get pre-made media from the yeast lab in Chicago, Omega. Thank you to them for sending us a bunch of pre-made
We
media
love
so that
Omega.
I don't have to
Thank
do
you,
it.
Omega.
Sponsor us, Omega. Sponsor us.
Omega, we're here. We love you.
Yeah.
So thankfully, they get us some media. We're able to plate everything we pasteurize, make sure nothing's
Nice.
growing in it, and so far so good. All the pasteurized stuff always passes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Before we move on to, I know you've got a couple events coming up that we want to get to, and I know Amanda wants to mention the Steeple and the Barley House, so we're going to get to that. But I would be remiss because Cody and I both are fans of barrel-aged beer.
Okay.
You guys here at Church Street have a very unique relationship with Four Roses for your barrels. What is that relationship, and how did that come about?
So I will say he's actually not there anymore. I have a new handler at Four Roses, but my older sister's husband, my brother-in-law, was undergrad and postgrad roommates with the QC manager at Four Roses. So
Not
for
bad.
years we were able to, go down there and get fresh dump barrels at a really good price, and kind of brought them back up here, took what we needed for ourselves, and then split them with other breweries around here. So a lot
Nice.
of Four Roses barrel-aged beer you see up in Chicago was, in our trucks coming back.
There you go.
It's a nice handshake with the guild that Lisa does.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Because the amount of demand for the fresh bourbon barrels now is insane.
Yeah. And it's just tough to get them from a broker. They always say it's going to have liquid inside, and then you pop the bung open and it looks like charcoal in the barrel. But we would get the
Cody, remind me that's a new T-shirt. Pop my bung open.
I'm not going to remind you of that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to remember.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question about that?
Yeah. So this is a stave from a barrel.
Ooh,
So your taster here, we were gifted these. So when you get a flight here in the tap room, it's 4th, and these were actual used barrels.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When I got here, I ordered a wine barrel-aged beer that you had. It's not that hot, but the humidity is about 734%.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. it's hot.
So it feels very hot. And what I've noticed, including that wine barrel aged beer that I had, was that all your beers are so like smooth isn't the right word, because there's a lot of smoother beers that they're like heavier, but they are all very crushable.
Yeah.
And they're very smooth. And even the wine barrel aged beer I got, it wasn't a syrupy, thick beer. It was light colored, and I drank it, and I was like, it just goes down. All of these beers I drank in like 3 sips in this crazy heat. So,
yes, but do the disclaimer that you are a wild alcoholic.
I'm sure. Well, there's that. But so my question, I guess, as a brewer, like, is there one through line through all of your brewing that creates all these beers? Because the consistency I have detected across your whole catalog portfolio is that they are very smooth and very easy to go down.
Yeah.
And it's striking across all the different styles how consistent that is. And
Thank
I think
you for that, by the way.
Yeah, it's really, thank you. I mean, you're welcome. It's impressive. And if it's the summertime, I cannot think of a brew with more beers that I've been to where you can just slam every beer, responsibly.
As the director of Pints and Publicity, is that your new catchphrase? Come to Church Street, you can slam them all.
I mean, that could be fun if we like called a beer slammer or something like that. But again, with Bassett, you have to be very careful. You're not just talking about that, but like we all want to drink responsibly. And
sure.
If you want to go crazy, go home.
Yeah.
But
Right. Be responsible.
honestly, but I love that. And we had a sales director, Don the Legend, and that was his tagline. It's crushable.
Yeah.
Like it is like you just yum. Let's go.
Yeah. And then that's not, we've talked to 40 some breweries, right? Like it's not always the case, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of barrel aged beers taste really syrupy and thick and malty, and that's great. But
you taste the beer.
It's great that all of these are so crushable. So yeah.
I think we've got kind of 2 key ingredients there. It goes back to the water. The softer the water is, kind of the like you said, thinner or watery is not a good way to describe it, but it's really clean when you have nice soft water.
Yeah.
Without going all the way to, RO water where it's really going to start to feel just washed out, watery. It tastes like nothing. So I think we just have really good source water. And then with the higher ABV beers, we do like to kind of cook that down. And we do like to, almost overpitch yeast on high ABV beers. So you don't get a lot of like harsh fusel alcohols. And we don't get up into the insane starting gravities that some people do. In order to achieve 14%, we're just using more yeast and a little bit more fermentable wort versus starting at an insanely high gravity and maybe getting some fusels and you get a lot more feel with a beer with a lot more. Basically, it's residual sugar. That's what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And some people love that, and some people make that. It's going back to the making what we like versus making what we want. We've done pretty good with our stouts.
There you go.
Kind of the way that we like them, and we kind of want to keep them that way. So
Cool.
If I can get away with not making a 40 Plato starting stout and having it finish over 20. I'm all good with that.
Yeah, but the wine barrel aged one was like 12 some percent. So
yeah, the wine barrel aged beers we like to do with lighter beers. So that was a Belgian Golden Strong, which was actually tying back to my dad. When I was a kid, my favorite beer he ever brought home was Duvel. So it was just a Belgian Golden Strong, just a really dry, strong, good
Tastes
beer.
like candy though.
it's good.
It really
in
does.
all the best ways. So
Yeah.
Devil's Advocate was kind of our take on that style, just a very big, dry, Golden Strong. And then we'll finish it in different ways. So we have a gin barrel finish with raspberry and lemon, and then we have just a straight wine barrel finish on it. And we do a blend with that. So we don't do Brett beers, but we do kind of aged Belgian beers.
Okay.
So when we do those Devils Uncorked, we'll blend a little bit of like 4-year-old Devils with a a blend of younger devils and then bring some kind of fresh unbarrel aged devils into the mix too. And all of that beer has 0 residual sugar. You're actually relying on almost glycerin. It's kind of like wine yeast,
Diabetes.
Oh, wow.
where you're relying on glycerin for body and feel. But there's actually no residual sugar at all. And that's why the ABV is so high, but it drinks like a nice pale, light
Be
beer.
careful, Cody.
And I love the uncorked because it is wine, and that is my background is wine. And Linford Winery in Roselle supplied us with those barrels. And I grew up there. So that was my introduction to
You grew up in a winery?
I did. Yeah. I shout out to Linford. They're amazing. The whole family is. But we've done a couple of collaborations with them and changing it up and doing a wine barrel aged instead of like that really hard, especially in the summertime. This is going to be in September, but it is summer here now. I would choose that over a stout.
Yeah.
I want a campfire, my flannel, and a marshmallow maybe.
When a beer is barrel aged, I typically gravitate towards stouts.
Yeah.
But this wine one was really good.
You got to try the gin devil too.
And I love gin, so
Yeah.
I am going to do that.
Right on.
And you love the devil.
I do.
So it's all...
Or
He lives close. It's okay.
All right. We're going to get to the Final Four in a second because Cody's...
we have to get to the... We're 20 minutes open.
I know.
I
Okay,
love
most of my
talking
fault.
to you guys,
Most
though.
of my
I really
fault.
do. This is a lot of fun.
First, if I don't talk about the pretzel, you'll yell at me later. So...
Why is it not in my mouth yet?
Amanda, tell us quickly...
Quickly. Yes, I know. I
Tell
have
us
a lot of
about the
words.
Steeple because we're in the main tap room now.
Yes.
Which is in the brewery.
Yes.
Tell us about if people want to come like in the middle of the day and they need to pick up some beer or they just want to have
Monday
it
through Friday from noon to 4. It's in the front. It's located by the dock side. It's right there. We call it the Steeple because it's the tippy top. And we open there for to-goes, tasting room. During the week, yes, you can bring in food, but then we like to kind of steer you over to our little pub that's right next to the West End off of 290.
Okay.
And it's in Hamilton Lakes. We call it Barley House. So it's the same beer, different food, but they're open Monday through Friday as well.
Okay.
That's definitely more your lunch spot, but obviously here for to-goes, you can get your kegs, you can get your 4-packs, or just have something while you're waiting and going to O'Hare, which is almost 15, 20 minutes away.
All right. So when people come in the tap room, obviously they can enjoy all the delicious beer.
All the things.
But you guys have a kitchen.
We do.
And we said, well, you're focus
Yeah,
on
so
German
our
beer. So let's
kitchen
bring
will be
us...
open during the week at 4 o'clock when the main tap room is open.
Okay.
And then noon, Saturday and Sunday. We reserve the Steeple for our private events.
Nice.
So you get your own server, you get your own bathroom, you get your own space, a little bit away from the public, and you get that special feel
Nice.
the Church Street way.
And we have this beautiful Bavarian pretzel. A lot of places, pretzel, that's
Yeah.
great. But the condiments that come with it, the mustard and the cheese is what
So
sets
our
Church Street
chefs
apart.
are awesome. Chef Liam's
Cody,
been
come
with
grab
us
a
for, 4 years, maybe. Yeah, about 4 years. He makes the queso. We used to do a beer cheese, and it was great.
Yeah.
He still puts beer in it, but this queso is just, it's got that perfect bite
Okay.
where it's not overly spicy, but if you want a little bit more spice, then you add a little bit of his homemade mustard, and he mixes about 6 different types of mustards
God.
and does his own
People are gonna say
mustard
plastic.
green.
No.
Yeah.
Cody should be up here taking some. I
So
don't want to spill it.
I'm taking
at Church Street, we have
No.
more of like, the
Okay.
sandwiches, the pizzas, salads, but more shareables. Because if you're doing a flight like this, you want to share it.
Yes.
So whether you want to have a full meal or just a bite, this is your place to go. But if you really want a full meal, it's Barley House. During the week, Monday through Friday, from 11 to 3, we do a $20 special. It's a burger, it's a side, and a beer.
Wow.
If you don't want a beer, then you can do a soda. It's whatever you want.
Save your beer for me.
Right.
I'll take it.
But over there, we have the hood. So we're doing phenomenal burgers. We have a burger of the month. They have tots that are unbelievable. Fries. If you don't want that, get a salad. Like, we'll do it. And then a seasonal beer garden. That's our patio.
Beautiful out back. We were out there.
Hopefully it's still open when you see this. Over here, we have that. And then we mimicked it over at Barley House as well.
Oh, wow.
And so there's pergolas over there.
Okay.
And it's just a vibe.
She is definitely a good director of PR.
Oh, yeah.
Publicity. She got it down. Amanda, good for you.
It's a vibe.
All right, let's go. It's about time you don't mind a fly.
I know, even the flies want it. I'm sorry.
Are you feeling all right now? You got a little pretzel in you? Everything's good? Amanda, keep with the PR. So what's coming up? We got a couple big events coming up here.
This is so good.
I know.
Oh my God.
What about the big event that's coming up October?
That is our 13th anniversary. Lucky number 13.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I came on fully into Church Street right when Sean became head brewer.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like we've learned a lot together.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. Having someone so young be in this, like he wants to keep to trend, but that traditional side that the Gregors have installed in all of us, that the beer speaks for itself.
Yes, it does.
We're just here for the ride.
You got a special beer coming out for the anniversary?
Yeah. We're going to do a root beer, which I know a few other people have made. I saw one at
I've never had one.
I had it first at Roaring Table up in Lake Zurich. I know Kinslager, I see the sticker on the laptop.
Yes.
Kinslager had a really, really good one. They're at the Lagerfest in the city.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like that beer. So we're going to take our shot at it this year.
Very nice.
So yeah, well, root beer, red lager, kind of
Sean gets creative for our anniversary.
Northern
beers.
Germany, a new
Yeah.
take. We always try to do a new lager for the anniversary. And so yeah, we're going to do a red lager.
So that's the weekend of October 3rd through the 5th.
Yes, sir.
So people should come. They'll have a good time. And then on October 24th, you're releasing another beer, which is
It's Mike's Brown.
the Brown Ale.
Is that our...
Yeah.
That's news to Sean. Get to work, Sean. Let's go.
Well, you told me it might change.
Let's get going
the
on that.
pre-schedule
That's
changes
just-
all the time.
I'm not
but-
into October in my schedule yet, but yeah.
All right. We have
So
gone.
that's our assistant brewer. It's a bunch of home brewers work with us. It's our assistant brewer, and they each get to make one batch a year of their own recipes.
Okay.
So Chuck will have his own recipe. Mike, this is Mike's Brown, will have his own recipe.
Nice.
And then Andy, her brother, that's our cellarman and has been for...
Yeah, side note, that's
12
how I
years.
wiggled my way through. To
Nepotism running around here in Church Street.
It's not
I like
nepotism
it.
when we're all family.
No,
But,
I love it.
Yeah, so each one of them gets to come out with their own
That's
homebrew
cool.
beers because they brew at home too, and they're all really good at it too. And so yeah,
It's fun.
till the
All right.
24th will be Mike's Brown Ale.
I hate to cut you off, but Cody is apoplectic behind the camera because we are now 30 minutes past when I was supposed to end with you.
Oh, boy.
I've
Right.
kept you a long time, but it's been fascinating. But before we get to the final toast, I must ask you, Sean, the final four. The same questions we ask every brewer. 4 questions, hence the name The Final Four. Number 1, the hill you'll die on, meaning a style that we already know you kind of eschew some of the popular stuff, but no matter what, for whatever reason, this is not a beer I'm ever going to brew.
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice, no pumpkin beers
Make
coming
it.
out.
Not
from
make
Church Street. All right.
Nope.
Good. You kind of alluded to this back when you were talking about Bircus, but a beer you brewed here at Church Street that may have been wildly popular, but or it may have been a bomb, whatever. But you're not going to do it again for whatever reason.
It's the same beer both places.
Yeah.
I keep trying to make that Scottish ale, and people keep not drinking it. So I guess I'll give up.
You
But-
got to find some Scots to come in. That's the key.
Yeah.
When you do it barrel aged,
Yep.
the barrel aged did well.
Yeah, we did. So we actually did the same thing. I took Chuck's recipe and changed it a little bit to fit our system at Bircus. But here we make his wee heavy as our barrel aged wee heavy.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's a no sparge beer, so we do what's called a partaguile. There's good sugar water left in that grain. You can rinse it out a little bit, and then you end up with, if we're only brewing 5 barrels of it into our yeast prop, you end up with a 7%, 90 shilling Scotch ale. It's still fairly strong. So we tried it a few times to make that 90 shilling, and I think it was just for me. So give up on that one.
We gotta find some way to get people to drink these Scotch ales.
Maybe one day.
Number 3, your go-to off-the-clock beer. Could be one of yours, could be something else.
I mean, it's almost always Helles when we get off work. Oh, almost everybody that works here pours himself Helles. My parents both love Dab.
Dab. That's
Dab?
what it is.
Yeah.
Not dots.
It's been a long
So it's a Dortmunder. It's the commercial style of Dortmunder.
Okay.
Low ABV, kind of not export strength, but we do like to get some 4-packs of Dab here.
Some Dab. All right.
But it always ends up, it just ends up being some 4.5 to 5% German beer.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
what we like to drink.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
And finally, the 4th question, your favorite food and beer pairing.
When I get a little bit of free time, I like to smoke meat.
Okay.
And it's contradictory. I know you were talking about the Polish smoked beer. I hate smoked beer.
I hate
don't
smoked
like
beer.
it.
too.
Wow.
But I love normal beer and smoked meat. I'll take smoked cheese. I like smoked meat. So I like to make ribs or brisket and
And what
Sit
goes
back.
good with that?
Helles.
Helles.
Once again.
Helles is the beer. I don't blame it. All right, before we get to our final toast, I want to once again thank Amanda and Sean for joining us.
Hey, but thank you. Please. Thank you.
stop it. And I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. My friends, be sure to support your local brewery because without your support, some of our favorite breweries are having a tough time. So make sure you are out there supporting your small local breweries. Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer is produced by award-winning podcast producer and pretzel aficionado, Cody Goff. Yes, you're a pretzel aficionado.
Oh, what? Oh, a pretzel
A
aficionado.
pretzel aficionado.
Oh, I like
See how I
that.
tied it in with the pretzel?
I'm
and
gonna get-
and then
I'm going to go aficionado of the that pretzel.
I got something you can fish for. You can visit our website to browse our archives of more than 40 episodes and get in touch with us at craftybrewerspod.com. We release a new episode of Crafty Brewers every other Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your favorite podcast apps.
All of them.
All of them. You want to support the show? Sure you do. Why wouldn't you? It'd be rude not to. Just leave a comment on our YouTube video. Any comment will do, unless it's negative, and then you can go pound sand. But leave a nice comment. Tell a friend about the show. That would be good, too. And thanks again to Sean Gregor and Amanda Steinbraker of Church Street Brewing for being here with us. You guys have been a lot of fun. Hence the extent. Thank you for your patience and sitting around with us. I'm Brian Noonan. That brings us to our final toast. So let's start with Amanda. Amanda, what are we toasting to today?
I'm toasting to new friendship.
Friendship.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Sean, what would you like to toast to?
One of the great tastes of the Midwest. We just came back from it today, and
Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
it's one of the best fests I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Great
Cody,
fest.
interesting fact. Did you know that Madison is an isthmus? All right. Look it up. I'm not going to give it to you. Sometimes you have to do some work yourself. But Madison, that's how I learned what isthmus meant.
Yeah.
I am also going to toast to new friends. I'm going to toast to experiencing a new place that I will definitely return to. And that's that. Cody, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't have any beer left because I drank it all, so I'll toast with a pretzel to crushable beers.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
And you gotta clink the glasses at the end.
You gotta
That's how
clink
we
again?
end.
Is that what we do? We do?
Well, all at once. It's gotta be the 3 at the same
ready?
time.
My God.
1, 2, what? Nope, no, 2. That was 2.
Stop it.
You gotta.
That's like a boomerang. I don't want to do this. No, thank you.
Cody's all mashed up with
It's like in the 90s when the Power Rangers would jump and do the high five.
Go, go, Power
All right.
Rangers.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Thank you.